Hello there, and welcome back to the Galactic Pod Racing Circuit. I'm Ace, and with me today is the one and only King Bean Dip.
Hello.
And we have
Yeah,
a
so
pretty nice match
so
today,
we are
hope.
starting we are starting the match on Eckler's Classic, a very popular choice in tournaments past. But yeah, our two players are Zelascelar and Paige, and they are both very highly skilled runners. So hopefully this will be a very close match today.
Yeah, essentially what this match is it's basically a decider for the second place in this group. Most likely, at least. So the winner of this match is very likely to get the second place in their respective group, which is really good for their position in the later bracket. So there's definitely some stakes involved here, and I think we're off.
Yep.
So let's get the sync in real quick.
Off to a pretty good start. Zelascelar lost his boost to the little ramp there. Not really a big deal. But if the race is really close, that might make a difference.
So far, so good. Both pilots looking pretty clean here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna resync one more time to get them really close. And this should do it. And you can see they are neck and neck here.
It looks like
Extremely
Paige is on
close.
lower heat, so she might be able to pull ahead.
Yeah, Paige on
Oh,
slightly
this is
lower heat here.
extremely close. Lower heat essentially means that she has more boost left in the tank.
Zelascelar's lap time was slightly faster though, so this is still anyone's match here.
Yep.
Anyone's track.
We're pretty used to seeing that though on this track. There have been a lot of really close races on this track in the past.
And it feels like Paige pulled ahead on this lap slightly. There was some very clean corners, some very good lines here. Definitely not a big lead though. It's still very, very close.
Uh-huh. She's going to be struggling to avoid underheating here. Yeah, looks like she did
Ooh,
and that's
yeah,
a little bit worse now.
yeah.
But she
So
might still have
Paige was
big enough.
already underheating. That's never good. If you're already underheating and then you lose your current boost already, that's
Yeah.
definitely costing a few tenths.
It looks like they're about neck and neck, but Paige is on slightly lower heat. So mostly it'll come down to who can use more heat in the final figure eight.
Yeah, this looks like it's gonna come down to the ending here.
This is really good to see such a close race on the very first race of the match.
Oh, the last color had a fire, but he manages to extinguish it in time. Or does it way
I
too
think
close?
Paige has it. Yeah. Wow, that was close.
Yeah, both with a sub 240. That was a really nice match.
But yeah, it did definitely come down to that last figure eight, so Zelascelar struggled to boost through it.
Not the closest ever finish we've seen here, but definitely very close. And this lets me get my hopes up for a
Yep.
very tight match here. Hopefully even a track 9. That would be great to see. But it is still quite a way off. So now the pilots are getting in their permanent track buns. So each pilot gets 2 track buns that they can take out for the remainder of the match.
Uh-huh.
And after that, the loser of the track will always bun a pod racer. Then the winner of the last track will temporarily bun the track just for the next track. And then the loser of the last track gets to pick the next track. And that's basically how we're going to go forward from here.
Paige is using has the spectator sheet up, so hopefully that will explain it well enough. Although, you know, it is fighting stream delay. All right, so now Zelascelar will start picking his next track. He's banning Ben Quadraneros, the fastest pod in the game. And now Paige will get to ban a track, and she is choosing something. Any second now. She's typing. Into classic. Okay, the Boon to Classic is one
What
of
do
the
you
more
think
difficult tracks in the game.
now? If you had to guess, where would you say Zelascelar is gonna take us?
Oh, geez. I think Death Rose is likely.
I agree.
And Dobby Mountain Run would be interesting. Scrappers is also likely. Zelascelar seems to be fairly predictable in which tracks he chooses. I don't know Baru Coast. Okay. So Baru Coast is one of the more difficult tracks in the game. Though having banned Bend Quadraneros, that does make the track quite a bit easier, since that now makes the strong picks Marisquo and Bullseye the most agile pod can also make a strong a strong showing. Okay, so both players are getting ready here. It is allowed to do a short warm-up before the race, and we see Paige doing that even though we can't really see what's going on. But yeah, Zelascelar choosing Bullseye, which is probably the safest pick for this track, though Marisquo is a bit faster. Wait, is she going with Bullseye? She is. Okay, looks like we have a Bullseye mirror on our hands. I can't really say I blame her though. Mars is such a large pod that getting Mars through the city section alive is a challenge of its own. Okay, so countdown has been given. So once the stream catches up, we will be off. I don't know what Paige has been practicing lately. Paige has several very strong track picks. Ace had to drop out for a second. He's having difficulty with the stream. So, looks like you got me for commentary. Both players off to a very strong start. Bullseye struggles a little bit on this beach section since it's a long straight line and Bullseye is not able to boost for very long. Now we enter this hairpin section, which will probably determine. Well, it's not the straights for the most part that will determine who is going to win the race, but how tightly they are able to take all these turns. And Zelascelar eked out a pretty significant lead through all of that. So Paige either needs to do quite a bit of catch up or hope for a mistake out of Zelascelar. Ooh! Alright, that does not help anything. Uh, 120.9 is a very strong lap 1 for Bullseye. Wow, that's an 8-second lead that Zelascelar has. That is really bad news for Paige. It's still very possible, but a little unlikely at this point that Paige will be able to claw back the lead. At the end of this beach section, you want to use all of your heat. Both players failing to do that by a small margin. So Zelascelar entering the city here at 226. Oh no, Zelascelar's lead is just massive at this point. 9-second lead. Jeez, his lead is growing. He could die twice and probably still win at this point. As Zelascelar certainly came very prepared for this track. He caught fire entering the hairpins, but he managed to put that out pretty quickly. Doesn't look like it interfered with his driving at all. It's very easy to catch fire and then completely lose your cool and, you know, slam into a wall. But he kept it pretty well under control. And yeah, he's entering the city on the final lap. It definitely looks like he has this track. .402, that is a very strong time with Bullseye. Ooh! Okay, well. The score is now 1-1, which means Paige is now able to choose the next track.
It looks like I missed a really nice time from the last killer.
You did. Alright, so Paige is banning Bullseye. Zelascelar is banning Gauntlet. It's an interesting ban. Paige, of course, is taking us to Malister 100. That is one of her favorite tracks. So Malister 100 is a relatively short track. It has an extremely tight hairpin at the end of the lap. And for that reason, the track optimally is done at the lowest traction possible, which means 24 frames per second and stock traction.
Back again, huh?
No, Zelascelar
You
did
want
not
that one,
ban
huh?
M100. He banned Endo Prime Centrum and Zuga. And of course, Paige is not using a force on this track. She is probably very confident in her ability to win this track without changing up what pods are allowed and stuff like that. Both players getting in a little warm-up. And then we will be off as soon as they're ready. Ace is gone again. Hopefully he'll be able to get his internet all working and participate. To be clear, this is still warm-up. We have not started the run yet. Zell is not afraid, then he will die braver than most. Yes. Alright, both players say they're ready. So countdown has been given. We will be starting in 10 or so seconds once the stream delay catches up. Alright, both players are off. So to get a good time on this track, they need to hug all of these turns as tight as they can, which is much easier said than done considering how low traction they have to go. Both players looking pretty even. Oh, Paige going for the fast terrain route. Ooh, hits wall barely lands the jump. Paige is going to be underheating pretty bad here, but Zelascelar takes a death on the hairpin. Of course, Paige doesn't know Zelascelar took a death, so she's probably still pretty concerned about having underheated badly on lap 1. Paige is strong enough at this track that Zelascelar will probably need a death or some serious mistake from Paige in order to win, but Zelascelar takes another death. Paige is stream sniping. I don't even think that's a good strategy. Alright, here comes Paige comes in for the final hairpin, and Zelascelar with a third death. That's, yeah, a clear victory for Paige. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. Update the score. Paige Ace is still MIA. I have chat popped out, not watching. Yeah, Paige does that. Alright, Zelascelar banning Ben. I would still not be at all surprised if we see a Death Rose revenge pick out of Zelascelar during a match.
Well, sorry
So-
about that. Hopefully,
Hey, you're back.
No?
Sebulba's Legacy was banned, and we are going to Scrapper's Run. Scrappers is like Death Row's little brother, something like that. Oh wait, he's force banning Ben, but he already banned Ben.
Yeah, I think
He
he
really
mixed it up
doesn't
for a
want.
moment there.
Yep.
So you know what that means, right?
That means Beto.
Most
Yeah, so
likely, at least Beto would be the best remaining pod.
Zelascelar's favorite pod is Eldar Beto, who is the third fastest pod in the game. But he has now banned the two fastest pods in the game. So this is essentially forcing Paige to use Beto. Except he's considering using a second force.
Oh no, he looks like he's fine.
Alright, so he's forcing Paige to use Zelascelar's favorite pod if she wants any chance to win this race. Well, a decent chance to win the race.
Back again, huh?
So I've
Alright.
actually talked to Zelascelar before this match,
Uh-huh.
and he told me that he feels he's kind of rusty on Beto. But yeah, I guess we will find out if that's true very
Yep.
soon.
Aldar Beto's pod. Ooh, Elan Mac. I don't like that pick much.
Well, I know it's one of Paige's comfort picks.
Yeah. I mean, Elan is certainly one of the fastest pods in the game. But if we get a good run out of Zelascelar, then Elan will stand little chance.
Yeah, I think they actually have the same boost plus, but Aldabedo has much better heat to cool ratio. So I think
Yeah.
that's what makes Beto a lot quicker. So if Zelascelar manages to use his heat well enough and don't underheat a bunch, he should be the favorite to take this here.
Uh-huh.
I think Zelascelar is off on his run here.
Ace, are you handling sync?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So this tunnel here is fast terrain, meaning it speeds up your pod while you're on it. And that means, generally speaking, it is not good to boost on it, because then you will be wasting some of the speed granted you by the track.
It's very tricky to properly use the fast terrain on this track, though.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a big bonk for Paige here.
that
Lost a
hurts.
bunch of base speed.
So yeah, both players are on PC. PC is, generally speaking, the optimal platform to run the game on. Also, it is much easier to obviously stream and
Oh, and
participate in the
Paige
tournament.
falls
That
off the
hurts.
track. Yeah, that's a huge lead for Zelascelar now. So these railings on the track that you see on a lot of these parts, these really small railings, if you tilt your pot, you go right through them, just like Paige did there. And
Yep.
there's the third crash. The second
Ouch.
crash of Paige, pardon me. Yeah, I mean, at this point, she probably knows
Yeah.
he will lose this track, most likely.
I mean, Zelascelar is on his final lap now, and he's been completely clean so far.
Yeah, in terms of input methods for PC, there's actually quite a variety. So there's plenty of people playing this on keyboard. As Zelascelar takes his first crash here, but I don't think it matters. I think he will still take this.
Yeah. He could
So yeah,
probably take a second death and still win at this point.
yeah, he probably shouldn't try though. Anyway, about the input methods. So a lot of players play on keyboard, yes, but there's also quite a few players just using normal controllers for this, and there's also players using a flight stick, which is actually quite effective. And all three of these input methods are viable for speedrunning, basically. As Zelascelar takes his second track here, tying it up 2 for 2.
Very nice.
Indeed.
The strangest thing about playing this game on PC though is your ability to adjust the frame rate, because frame rate in this game directly affects your traction, which has various ramifications on your handling. On certain tracks you want to go high traction, other tracks you want to go low traction. Frame rate also affects gravity and a couple of other minor details.
So yeah, in general, on PC, frame rate is a lot of the time used to fine-tune your handling. So it's quite similar in terms of how traction works, how the traction upgrades work. So having a higher FPS in general handles about the same as having a higher traction upgrade. So you can use the FPS to essentially fine-tune the handling.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So
gravity is actually quite minor in this context. It has a few implications, especially when it comes to skips, but for the most part, it doesn't really do much.
yeah. Also, yes, you could use two controllers on N64 to control each engine. I don't know if anybody has ever submitted a run using that control scheme.
So something has happened that I didn't consider would happen, and that is Paige got to pick Ubuntu training course.
Yep. This is... Yeah, Zelascelar did not ban it.
And I guess it's fair to say that this is Paige's best track.
Yes, of course. Paige has a pretty strong chance of taking the sorry, remind Paige to switch things. Paige has a pretty strong chance of being able to beat the tournament record on this track right here.
Yeah, for sure. Although the main concern should be beating Zelascelar.
Yes, of course. So both players will be getting in a little bit of warm-up. So speaking of frame rate and traction, this is one of the few tracks in the game where using current strats it is optimal to go with the maximum traction, which means 60 frames per second and max traction upgrade. And the primary reason for that is because of the gravity to help you hold the boost on the final lap going into the finish. And also the opening boost.
I'm gonna get into sync right away. And yeah, let's see what these players can do here.
And we say Zelascelar there lost the opening boost, he has to reboost, which is a small time loss, but this track is so optimized that little time losses like that really matter. Especially when you're going up against Paige here.
Pascal is using a very uncommon strat here, not taking the jump and not taking the normal route, going in between, and I think that cost him quite a bit of time here.
Yeah. So relatively recently we discovered, I think in the last year, we discovered the jump strat that Paige is using. Which is ideal for laps 1 and 2. So by doing this jump, she is cutting a little bit of the track. And we see that she has pulled out a lead because of it.
Yeah, and quite a big lead at this point, considering this track. It's probably about a second lead, so it's very, very difficult to catch up here in the end. I think Zelascelar needs Paige to make a major error here to still have a shot. And Paige holding the boost. At this point, there's almost nothing that can go wrong, and Paige is on a really good heat here. That might be tournament record. Not quite. It's a 1:35, though. Very excellent time. So Paige proving that if you face her, you better bun Bunte training course.
Yep. Yeah, pretty recently, Paige and Damare had a battle on this track trying to, you know, get a 135.5 before the other one did. Yeah, Paige says just 5,000 attempts on the track. Sounds about right, honestly.
Yes. Well, yeah, I think Paige will be pretty happy about that. Probably didn't expect either to get this track, get to play this track in tournament.
Yeah. Zelascelar is banning Ben again. I believe he's done that every time.
Yes, I think you're right.
Executioner is banned, and then Zelascelar is taking us to Bunte Classic.
Ooh, that's a juicy one.
Paige
So
is
the
excited
Bunte
about
Classic
that.
is, yeah. I mean, I know they're both pretty good on this track, but I would say Zelascelar has the edge here. I know that he's extremely quick here and also very consistent. And it has to be said that this is first of all one of the longest tracks in the game, and is on top of that, it's one of the most difficult tracks in the game. So it
Yeah,
is
for sure.
it is actually quite tough to get a good time in here on a one-try attempt in tournament. So let's see what's going to happen. Do you expect a bullseye mirror, or do you think there will be any surprise picks here?
I'm pretty certain Zelascelar will pick bullseye. Paige will probably take bullseye, but she might be brave and go with Mars.
Well, Mars's potential is definitely quite a bit higher than bullseye, but he's also a bit more difficult to make work here, especially over the course of 5 minutes, which is about where we would expect these two players to finish. 5 minutes and maybe like 15 seconds. So this is definitely quite the test of endurance here.
All right, both players say they're ready, so countdown is being given. We should be starting the race in a few seconds. Yeah, so this is the track from the movie. Mostly, the developers, when they were trying to make the track from the movie, they discovered it was just absurdly long, so they had to trim it down pretty heavily. But this is one of the most difficult tracks in the game. I think many players would put it in the top 3. Not only are the turns extremely difficult, but the track is full of obstacles that are trying to kill you. Probably more than any other track.
Did you catch that opening line from Zelascelar?
Yeah, I saw that when he was warming up. That's a very uncommon opening line, and it's fair to say that only Bullseye can do it reliably.
Yeah, it is the fastest. Especially for Bullseye, it's definitely the optimal thing to do.
Uh-huh.
Paige going for a better strat over the off-road though.
Yeah. Bullseye is not one of the fastest pods on this track. In fact, he's probably not even in the top 3 or 4. But this track is so difficult that it makes sense to use Bullseye.
Yeah, especially if
Especially in
you're
a
used to
tournament
him.
setting where you don't... Yeah, where a death can cost you a race, as opposed to, you know, when you're speedrunning Gaels, you die and restart the run.
And currently you can see both players going through a section where they get shot at by the Tusken Raiders. So the little flames you see popping up, if they were to hit the pod will immediately catch fire and it will be thrown off the line. So
Possibly
I
into
think,
the wall.
yeah, possibly into a wall or into the Java sandcrawler that is patrolling around. So it's very dangerous and it's essentially RNG, although there is ways to manipulate where these flames will spawn.
Paige really struggled with boosting at the final part of that lap, and she fell behind really far. This
Yeah,
is
looks
now
like
an uphill battle for her.
Zelascelar has about a 3-second lead here. Oh, and
Ooh!
saying that, he crashes, and now Paige takes back the lead. That was a weird error. I think he wasn't used to being down there and didn't know what exactly to do.
It really seems like Paige got really caught up with trying to repair the engines when she should have been focusing more on boosting.
There's a crash from Paige. So both
Yep.
players had one crash now, and Zelascelar are taking back the lead. This is
and
far
another
from
death from
over though.
Paige.
Oh, another crash. Oh, that's gotta hurt. And that's gotta also be really bad for your mental game if that happens 2 crashes in a row like that.
Uh-huh. That's what I mean though. The first death there was, you know, the only reason she died is she was caught up on trying to repair the engine.
I see, yeah.
Let's see if she can avoid the fires on lap 2. So far so good.
Yeah, looks like the Tusken Raiders had mercy here.
Sometimes that happens.
So Zelascelar coming up to start his last lap here, and he has quite a substantial lead here. Let's see how much. So he crosses the line at about 3:35. See where Paige comes in. Like a high 3:42, so we almost have an 8-second lead for Zelascelar at this point. He can probably afford at least one crash.
I think it's fair to say that Paige could, at this point, do this third lap absolutely perfectly and probably not win, unless Zelascelar makes some major mistake.
Yeah, for sure. 8 seconds is a huge margin in this game. Yeah, Zelascelar still only on one crash. Doing a very good job here of keeping it consistent, keeping it safe. It looks like he's gonna bring this one home, but he still has the Tusken Raider area to navigate.
So far, Zelascelar's been just fine.
Yeah, looks like he avoided all the fires.
Oh,
He avoided the
that was
tank.
close.
Just about avoided it. Almost crashed into it, but
That was the last
this
second
is looking
reaction
really
there.
good for the last guy.
.517, an extremely strong time considering the death. All right, so we're going on to, what is this, track 7? Jeepers. Yeah, so first to 5 points wins. We still have at least 2 tracks left. And at this point, it's still anyone's match. Paige does have the advantage because she is able to pick the next track. What that means is that Zelascelar will need to win on one of Paige's track picks. So Paige banning Mars. Ace is also out of commission for another minute. Hopefully he'll be able to come back really soon. Zelascelar takes out Spice Mine. I think Paige is pretty strong on that track, but I'm not. Paige doesn't seem to pick that track very much at the least. Paige is going to Spolba's Legacy with no forces. That is a very interesting track pick. So Sebulba's Legacy is about average length, but it is an extremely tight and technical track. And since Paige banned Mars, the obvious pod pick here is Ben Quaternaros.
Yeah, and I know that Paige has actually prepared this.
Yeah.
So Paige definitely practiced here in the recent days. Did quite a few attempts of this track actually. And it has to be said that this track with Ben is extremely technical.
Paige
and it's
is
very,
going
very
with
easy
Bullseye.
to slip up. Oh, I see.
Oh no, she
Honestly,
just forgot to pick. She just forgot to switch her pod. Okay, so we are seeing a Ben Mir.
I would have liked the Bullseye pick. I think Bullseye is a pretty solid choice here.
Yeah, not the fastest, but you do have to execute Ben extremely well in order to be faster than what Bullseye can do.
Yeah, if you make one mistake with Ben, you already won't be able to beat a cleanly executed Bullseye. So let's see what's gonna happen here. I'm very curious. Like I said, this is a very technical track, extremely volatile in terms of what can happen here in tournament. It is quite short, but yeah, there's a lot that can go wrong.
Especially the final turn. So there is a big turn which both players should be cutting.
Oh,
And that's
we
pretty.
have the perfect sync.
Yeah, that's nice. That cut is pretty dangerous to do. We'll see if both players are able to pull it off cleanly all 3 laps.
Yeah, and there's
And
also
even if
this boost that both of them are holding right now, also very tricky to do.
very nice from both players so far.
Yeah, they're looking
Ooh!
extremely even as
Oh, that
Zelascelar
hurts.
takes a crash.
Alright, here's the cut. And Paige dies on the cut.
Yeah,
If Zelascelar takes this clean, then we'll still have a race on our hands.
and he does. He does.
Hopefully. In fact, it looks like Zelascelar is now slightly ahead.
Yeah, he has a very slight lead, but it's hardly anything. I would say they're pretty much tied. Zelascelar on slightly higher heat here, so
If Zelascelar can win this race, that will dramatically improve his chances of winning the match.
yeah, it would be huge. Paige holding the boost, so while Zelascelar is not holding it, so I don't want to call anything here. This is so close.
I know.
Both of
Ooh!
them making
Paige
it.
died
Paige
again!
dies again!
No!
Ooh.
That hurts. Yikes, now we need a serious mistake from Zelascelar, probably a death, in order for Paige to catch up.
Yeah, or missing the shortcut would be even a much bigger mistake, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and
No, he makes
Zelascelar
it
could
in.
probably still die on the shortcut and win, since it doesn't hurt as bad if you do it on the last lap.
Yeah, that's true. As long as he doesn't fall down and spawn down there. That can't
Yeah.
happen. So let's see. He makes it
clean.
He takes
Wow!
it.
Zelascelar takes the race.
He breaks the surf, and now he's on match point.
That is huge. Now, what that means is that Paige has to win both of the next two tracks, and Paige can only choose one of them.
Yeah, so Paige has to win on her own counterpick, and then after that, she has to win on the Zelascelar's counterpick. So, quite a difficult position if you're Paige right now. So let's hope for Paige that she has a really good counterpick left where she can definitely secure a win.
This
then
would be
we-
a pretty big upset in the tournament bracket, because Paige qualified ahead of Zelascelar. And so if Zelascelar is able to beat her in this group, he will be taking second into the double elimination bracket.
Yeah, Paige definitely went into this match being the favorite. Although we knew that Zelascelar definitely had the potential here, but he's on match point right now. One more and he takes this.
Alright, so Paige is banning Bullseye.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Paige has all of her forces left.
Yes. Yes, she does. Zelascelar still has 2, though, which you can do a lot of damage with 2 forces.
Yeah. So this is Paige's last chance to use her forces. So I would expect for some forces to come in here. If I had to guess, we're gonna see skips. I would have said if I had to guess, we're probably gonna see Abyss or Inferno skips, and that's exactly what's happening here. Paige is taking us to Abyss, and she's forcing skips.
She still has 2 more forces she can use if she wants. Oh, ban Mars and Clegg for the hell of it.
Now, I don't know how well Zelascelar can do this one. I'm pretty sure he knows how to do it, but I don't know how well he can do it.
Yeah. This will be interesting. So Abyss is one of the 2 shortest tracks in the game if you're doing skips.
Yeah,
The world
this can
record
be
is
over
sitting
in
at 18 seconds, I believe.
yeah, it's 18.4 seconds. In a tournament setting, you would expect times between like 22 and 28 seconds here if everything goes well. So don't blink, you might miss it. And it is quite a consistent skip. However, if you do mess up, it will cost you big time, usually.
Yeah. There is a recovery if you mess up a skip, but not all players know it, and it is a little tricky to pull off. And even still, it costs a lot of time, and you can still easily lose because of it.
Oof, Zelascelar in his practice here doesn't look like he quite knows where to go.
This doesn't look so good for Zelascelar. struggling on this warm-up. Yeah, there's no reason to back up here.
Oof.
He's just
Yeah.
ramming the wall. That's not the way to do the skip.
He's setting up at the wrong spot as well. Yeah. This is not looking very good for the Zelascelar here. Unless he magically finds the correct setup now.
Wait, no, this isn't the run yet.
No, still has to be warm up.
Well, in warm-up, we see Paige doing pretty well. Messed up the setup on lap 3, but that can happen pretty easily.
And I think this is the run. So I'm not even gonna bother to sync this. Yeah, this doesn't look good for the Zelascelar. He's just trying to brute force it somehow, but it's not gonna work, unfortunately.
It really looks like Zelascelar doesn't remember the setup for the skip.
Yeah. And it's a forfeit from the Zelascelar.
Yep.
So
Paige
Paige
died on
takes
lap
it.
3, but not a big deal. Alright, easy win for Paige.
So this is track 9. Right here. Whoever wins this next one
Fantastic.
takes this match home and probably takes second place in this group.
Uh-huh.
But this is essentially the match for second place. The track for second place. So let's see what Zelascelar comes up with here. He still has 2 forces, as you mentioned. So I'm quite curious what's going to happen now.
Alright, so Zelascelar's banning Ben, which he has done every race.
Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised to see another force for a bolus ban, like he did on Scrapper's run.
Uh-huh. Paige banning Mongaza Speedway, which is a very short, very volatile track.
Yeah, it's the shortest full track in the game. But we're not going to see that today.
And waiting for Zelascelar's track pick.
Yeah, he's considering his options here, it seems. This will be the last track of the match, no matter what.
Yep.
And I'm very curious what it's gonna be. He's typing.
We all wait with bated breath. Inferno, Force Ban
Ooh.
Bulls and Mars.
Okay. So we're gonna see Inferno full track. No Ben, no Bolus, no Mars. So I am expecting a Mahonic pick from Zelascelar and an Elon pick from Paige.
I suspect you're right. Though we all know a Beto pick would be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, but realistically, who is gonna pick Beto
Yeah, I know.
on Inferno?
Elan versus Beto, Nacho thinks.
Wait. I think Zelascelar's doing it.
I don't know. He might be doing it. I do think Paige will go with Elan.
Definitely. I'm almost certain about that. But Beto, while being technically the fastest remaining option, he's extremely difficult to make work on this track.
And he's going with Beto. This is incredible.
Oof.
This feels like a really risky pick to me.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Paige is not a slouch on this track, and Zelascelar is betting on winning with the faster but far more difficult pod.
Yeah, it is so easy to take a crash here with Beto. Especially in the section he's approaching right now. But he's looking pretty solid in his warm-up.
Yeah, he does.
Is he taking the shortcut? He is not.
Wait, Paige went with Mahonic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised about that. But
It doesn't
probably a
make much
smart thing to
difference. The
do.
two pods are really similar.
yeah, Mahonic has slightly better handling. And
And
you can-
Elan has slightly better boost.
You can see Zelascelar taking some really risky lanes. Did you see what he did in the lava room with the rocks? He jumped out of the track between the rocks. So definitely quite risky here. And he's not taking the shortcut. But let's see what's gonna happen. Both players are ready. We're gonna count them down, and then we're off on Inferno, track 9, the match deciding track. Whoever wins this is probably gonna take second place in the group.
This is going to be tight.
This is what we want to see. I
Okay,
hope
good.
this
Paige
is gonna
remembers
come
what
down to
team.
10. So I'm gonna do my best to sync them up as soon as I can. Immediately. So I think Zelascelar's off here.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's Elan for Paige. So we see Bido versus Elan.
Zelascelar. If Zelascelar. Oh no!
No!
He dies! That hurts a lot. I was about to say if
Yeah.
Zelascelar does what he did in warm-up, then he might have this, but that death is really costly.
Yeah, taking an immediate crash, and it's gotta be really bad for your mental game as well.
Uh-huh. And he
Oh,
loses
dear.
another boost there. This is going nowhere fast for Zelascelar.
Oh,
And he
Paige falling
loses
in the
another
lava, though.
boost. Okay, well, that's something, but it's not enough.
It's not enough, no, but it definitely costs a few seconds. So let's compare the lap times. It's a 56, let's call it a 56, and a 59. So that's about a 3.2 second lead for Paige at this point. And oh no!
Oh, he falls off
what's
again.
Happening? What is happening? Paige falls down.
Man,
Guy-
and
somehow
Zelascelar
sticks
catches
to
up.
the wall. Oh man. Okay, we have
That
a
is
race
such
on
a
our
rare
hands.
mistake.
You gotta give it to Paige though. That was some quality crisis management right there.
Yep, riding the wall to stay off the slow terrain. And not only is it slow terrain, but when you're in the lava, you heat up, and that wastes your boost.
Yeah, that
you
could have
be
been
using.
much worse than it was for Paige. And now they are basically tied.
Ooh.
Zelascelar takes another crash. And he takes the crash on that jump off that I mentioned earlier, where he tries to go between the rocks, and he pays for it.
That is a risky line.
Oh, and they're both on their last lap now, and Paige just needs to keep it clean, basically. If Paige doesn't take a crash here, I think she's gonna take this home.
This is really unfortunate. Zelascelar was doing so much better in warm-up.
Yeah. It's not over yet, though. There's still half a lap to go for Paige, and it's quite difficult to navigate these sections. See if Paige can keep it clean here. You can definitely
Paige
see
buys-
there's some nerves here.
Yep. That's
This
past
looks
all
really
the
good for
dangerous parts of the
Paige.
track. This should
Only
be
one
Paige's
corner
track.
left.
And another
And
death from
Zelascelar dies
Zelascelar.
again. Yeah.
That's match.
Paige takes it.
Wow.
It's a 5-4.
That was a battle to the very finish.
Yeah. Quite the eventful last track right there. Wow, yeah.
Wow.
But GG's, that was a very exciting match.
All right, get them in for interview.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Hello,
from
Paige.
up.
Hello.
Oh my god.
Yeah, congrats on that win. And hello, Zelascelar.
There we go. Now he's in.
Hello, Zelascelar.
Oh god, that ending. I thought I was screwed after falling into the lava twice.
Yeah, that was something.
I died thrice. Oh.
I managed to avoid too much speed loss from the lava on the lap 2 drop because I was able to keep the wall ride.
Yeah, that was a very good reaction from you right there.
A wall ride.
Yeah, I fell into the left lava on the second straightaway of the track, but I managed to keep a wall ride on the right wall for the entirety, most of my heat, and then dropped off and basically tried to keep it up.
All right, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, you definitely need to watch this back. This was a great match. We had a lot of fun commentating this. It was very nice and extremely close until the very end.
That's what it's all about.
I have one question. How the hell do I keep getting to pick Boon to training?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, we were quite surprised about that as well.
I should note it because in the setup, when I banned Boonta for the first race, you went like, "Oh, I should have picked it up."
Yeah, probably. It's also, you know, I thought everyone knew I had like 5,000 attempts or something on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's probably your best track, isn't it?
By far.
That was a really nice time.
Thanks. M100 kind of comes close. Oh, I have that up. I shouldn't.
So those are the two favorite tracks. Good to know.
Mhm. I'd been so your Baru Coast pick caught me off guard because I'd been practicing Ben for a ban bullseye take Ben.
Ben, wait, could be
I've been-
Ben on.
I'd been practicing Ben so I could ban bullseye and force you onto something else.
Oh, okay.
So that just kind of caught me off guard.
Zelascelar, that Beto pick on Inferno was really interesting. Yeah, I think it's fair to say nobody expected you to go with Inferno and
I mean-
just set it up to take Beto.
I have never done Beto on Inferno.
What?
Well, I had never done Elan on Inferno, so we were in a similar boat.
Yeah, a nice track. No, I trusted Beto, but holy crap. that
Inferno's
first
hard.
death.
Inferno's really hard, especially on a wide pod with low traction.
And
Honestly-
same mistake twice.
Elan would have been my pick kind of no matter what, even with those bans, because I did not want to try a pod as wide as Mars or as sluggish as Bulls on turning. I kind of just want it for the hybrid.
But it feels to me that the LMAC is more slidey than Beto.
They have the same traction.
And Elan has a faster turn rate, so it kind of works out.
Ah.
He has the highest turn rate of the pods with that traction, right?
Yes.
Also, I noticed in chat Nacho calling Elan Beto and just got to kind of mind games a bit, and fake him out with Maw.
Yep.
We have a Elan Beto rivalry going, I think. It's 1-1.
Yep.
Yeah, I was also really angry at my deaths on Sebulba's Legacy.
Yeah, where did you die?
On the jump twice.
Oh, yeah.
One, I clipped like a pixel of the higher cliff, then lost control and got thrown, which cost control and got thrown into the far wall. And the other one, I caught the lower lip in Broken Engine. Both of those, in my practice, were like a 50-50 of actually dying if those mistakes happened, and I just happened to catch it on both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's when that hand sweat kicks in. That's
Yeah, no, I was.
Yeah, Paige, how did you feel when you slipped off on lap 2 on Inferno into the lava? That must have been quite something.
Yeah, my head was basically a lot of oh god, oh crap.
Yeah, I would say that you handled that really well. That could have gone a lot worse than it did. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I did
There was-
keep that boost up for the entire wall ride, right?
yeah, I think you kept it up for most of it, and you kept out of the lava. That was the important thing, and you
Yeah.
didn't crash. So
Uh-huh.
yeah. But again, this was like such a close match. It was
Mhm.
extremely fun to commentate, and you always love to see matches like this go to track 9.
Not as
Yeah.
much when you're playing in them. That amount of stress is.
Yep, it is hard for the runners.
Those are some fun tracks though. Like the scrappers with the scrappers band was fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's always good to get to play some different ones. And it's also on tracks that you don't usually see Ben bands on because everyone's practiced Ben on tracks like that, and they just want to play them.
Yeah. I feel I'm more like a low tier hero, or lower tier at least.
I was about to say Beto's the third best in the game.
Yeah.
Granted, that's by a pretty wide margin because Ben is stupid, but
He's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
How did you commentators explain my death on Beck? That was
yeah, what happened with your death there? Mine was just hitting two
I
two
don't
dumb mistakes
remember
in the
how you
hairpins.
died there.
I in the beginning up that slope before the walling. I missed the slope up, and then I
yeah,
crashed
I remember.
straight into.
Okay. Oh yes.
Wait, the service ramp?
Yeah, he missed the service ramp, and then he went on the lower route, started to jump, but then midway realized he won't make the jump, and then he couldn't do anything anymore. So I thought that was down to you not knowing the lower route well enough. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Do you know what happened?
What happened?
I was gonna do a normal jump there, and then in the last half second, my mind went, "Wait, King Beandip did this nice slide up this little corner here to boost in the air.
Oh,
I should do that. Oh no, wait, it's too late. Oh,
Okay.
So yeah, it was pure panic.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, some of these backup strategies would, in the moment you have no idea, realize you have no idea how to do it. You've never done it before.
Yeah, I did tons of that.
also, I'm really sad on Boon to Training that I lost that boost lap 3. That would have been tournament record.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, you got a 35.9.
You lost the boost? I thought you hold it.
Top of the hill.
No, okay.
Top of the starting hill.
I see.
Yep, you missed Damare's time by 64 milliseconds.
That could have been a
Man.
35-7.
Yeah, possibly.
So I guess I can say congratulations on second place, Paige. Although you still have a shot at first place if you beat my co-commentator.
Yeah, gotta take it to
Yep.
King Bean.
Good luck.
I'm
And
not quite ready, but I'm close.
speaking
I'm
of
not getting
this,
Boon to Training there, am I?
Why in the world would you think that? It's
So,
like easily your strongest track and easily my weakest track.
I know.
Zelascelar, you're on 1-2 right now, and you have a match versus Les Cylindres tomorrow, which
Yeah.
means if you win that match, you are essentially guaranteed third place.
Not even essentially,
Oh.
he is guaranteed.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that's another one to watch out for. Definitely looking forward to that one as well. And
Yeah,
then
that should be a fun match.
Group B is almost concluded at that point.
Yeah, it would just be King Bean and I would need to play the cylinder.
Yeah, and then you need to
Me and King
play
Bean.
each other.
Yep.
Whew.
I was honestly a little hoping that Zelascelar would win this match because it would greatly hurt your chances of toppling me
Oh, okay.
in the group.
Yeah, actually, no. If Zelascelar won that, you had first place locked up because you would have had the head-to-head over him, and he would have had it over me.
Yep, I still have to beat you
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
How do you remember the first
Man.
tiebreaker is points different? It's not the head-to-head.
Yeah. So I
I'm
would have
sorry.
had to like score against you.
Yeah.
Now I have to win.
We'll see.
Yep.
We still need to pick a day for that. I'm not sure I'll be able to do the 20th, but if we set it for the last day, it'd be great.
Yeah, so for everyone watching, group phase is still going on until the 20th of June. And shortly after that, we will be starting our final bracket phase. If you're curious about the current standings, you can check out the links in chat. You can go onto the challenge and see how it's going. And yeah, stick around. There's a lot more pod racing to come in the coming weeks.
Well, we can, since I have the screen up, we could actually look very briefly at the standings
Yeah, we could do that.
because I have that prepped. God, Ace's points differential. Good lord.
Yeah, we need to do something about that guy.
So Group A, not too surprising with Ace on top. Lightning and Dwy are going to be in a pretty tight race for second.
But to be fair, if Lightning beats me, he wins the group.
Yeah.
This is true.
Well,
Most likely. Unless Dry
Lightning-
beats him.
yeah, Lightning's got to beat you and Dwy because he's only played DU so far.
Yeah, that's right.
And Group B, where we just saw one of the later matches. Haven't updated this yet, but no, it has updated.
Yeah, it's all up to date.
Okay. Group B is looking like it's going to be Zelascelar and Cylinder for third, and then me and King Bean for first at this point.
Yeah,
Yep.
Bilios already eliminated. Bilios already played
Unfortunately.
all the matches.
Some significant improvement from Belios though compared to
Oh.
last year.
For sure.
And then groups C and D are also in a slightly weird spot. Like Group C is really going to come down to Metallica and BBK.
Yeah, and that match
Yeah,
is
that's
coming
true.
soon.
Yeah, that's Saturday, isn't it?
It is.
Exciting.
Like that one's going to be a showstopper. You thought this match was good?
No, this match was good.
Yeah, but those
Yeah, it
two
was.
are going to be just as competitive.
Yeah, that's gonna be probably the fight for the first place in Group C. Whoever wins this, if Metallica wins this, he's guaranteed first place. If BBK wins this, he's likely to get first place. Although he still has to beat Nectarn in that case.
Yeah, Nectarn cannot get first in the group, I don't think.
Technically,
He could actually, yeah.
yeah, BBK would have to beat Metallica, and then
He would have to-
Nectarn.
BBK would have to beat Metallica 5-0, and then Nectarn would have to beat BBK 5-0.
Yeah, basically.
Which, wow. Like, if that happens, that'll be the comeback. That would be the biggest group stage shuffle I've ever seen.
Yeah, we haven't had any major upsets yet. This match was almost the first upset of the tournament so far.
And it wasn't even a minor upset. Like, we were both in the same block of very similar times from qualifying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is definitely going to help your ELO ranking, though, Paige. I think you're
Yeah.
gonna rise up a bit now.
And yeah, I've gotten bodied by the brackets in the last two tournaments.
You really have.
Like, I am
Some
cursed.
tough matches.
And then, yeah, moving on down, Group D. We have Domare versus Nacho on Saturday?
Also
Yeah.
on Saturday, yeah. It's the first match on Saturday at 2 p.m. EDT. And 3 hours after that will be Metallica versus PDK.
And that will be really interesting because although Damire qualified in second place in the tournament, this will be his first match in the tournament against a very skilled player.
Yes.
In any tournament, since this is the first tournament he's participating in.
And you've got to bear in mind, Nacho is one of the best players in this tournament strategically. But
yeah,
when it comes to his actual pick and ban strategy, he is absurdly good.
Yeah, this is another match for first place. Whoever wins that match will finish first place in Group D.
Yep.
While we're talking about Group D real quick, if anybody wants to go back and see the most absurd match I've ever watched, go back and watch Nock playing Joggleby.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was the most fun I've had watching a match. It was that one also went 5-4 as well. With the most ridiculous gauntlet I have ever seen. Twice.
Yeah.
It's
fair
a
to say.
close call on what the most ridiculous gauntlet is, though.
Yeah. We'll see what happens when we play. Are we both going for bowl cut?
Oh dear.
Maybe. I haven't ruled it out yet.
I mean, I was thinking we just right here, right now, gentlemen's to go for triple bowl cut.
Oh man. We can if you want.
Let's do it.
All right.
Triple bowl cut, track 1.
All right, I'll be your witness.
You all heard it.
Maybe I regret this a little bit.
You can back out if you want, but
Just, I hadn't yet figured out my strategy for track 1.
yeah. Anyway, we're coming up on the end of our block.
Yep. So yeah, thank you all for watching. This has been a fantastic match. Yeah, we have another match tomorrow at the same time, and then another match on Saturday at the same time.
2 matches on Saturday, actually.
Yep.
And 2 really good ones, like we said before. It's going to be Domire versus Nacho Bredo at 2 p.m. EDT on Saturday. And then at 5 p.m. EDT, it's going to be Metallica versus Banana Boat Kids. So both of these matches are essentially fighting for first place in their respective group.
Mm-hmm.
And also tomorrow at 2 p.m. EDT, Zelascelar versus Zelascelar fighting for third place in Group C. So
yep,
that's going to be a very important one. We will see you all later.
Hey, thanks for watching, guys.
May the force be with you.